Have you ever wondered why children choose their parents? Have you ever asked yourself why the second child often carries a very different energy? And could it be that this child is not only yours, but also a blessing of good karma? Welcome back to Son.Mindfulness. This is a place where we reflect on Buddhist wisdom and learn how to apply it in daily life. Stay with me until the end, because you may discover an answer that speaks directly to your own journey. In today's world, many parents are left with unanswered questions. Why does the first child bring so many challenges, while the second child feels gentle and peaceful? Is this only coincidence, or is it the working of a deeper law of karma? These questions have lingered in many hearts, but few have found a complete answer. In this video, we will explore together. We will look at how Buddhism explains the bond between parents and children. We will reflect on the meaning of the second child in our spiritual life. And we will discover how the presence of this child can become a path of healing and inner growth. Son.Mindfulness is here to bring you peace and wisdom. Each video is a gentle reminder of karma, compassion, and the journey back to your true self. If you find these reflections helpful, I invite you to subscribe, support, and walk this path with us. I am deeply grateful for your presence here today. May you enjoy good health, peace, happiness, and blessings in your life. And now let us begin the 6 key lessons. Listen with your heart, because you may discover something familiar, yet entirely new, for your own journey. Part 1. The Law of Karma, the Foundation of Life. My dear friends, as we step into the later years of life, many of us sit quietly and reflect on the journey we have traveled. There have been joys, there have been losses, there are moments we are proud of and others we regret, and often the question arises in our hearts, why did these things happen to me? This is when we begin to touch the mystery of karma. In Buddhism, karma is not random punishment or reward. It is not the favor or anger of some distant deity. Karma is simply the echo of our own actions, words, and thoughts, carried across this life and many others. Imagine a stone dropped into a still lake. The ripples spread outward long after the stone has sunk. We may forget the moment we threw it, but the water remembers. Life is the same. No act of kindness is ever lost. No act of anger vanishes without trace. All leave an imprint, and sooner or later, they return to us. I recall a woman I knew, now in her 70s. She once told me, "In my younger years, I thought living well meant others would love me. Now I understand that living well means keeping my karma light." She had spent her youth quietly helping neighbors in need, expecting nothing in return. Later, in her old age, strangers appeared to care for her during illness, lifting her through her darkest times. That was not chance. That was the circle of karma. What she had sown in love returned as blessing. Have you ever wondered why some people, though born into poverty, always meet kind helpers? Or why others, despite material abundance, remain restless inside? The answer lies in karma. Karma is not only in great deeds, but in the smallest choices of thought and word. A gentle word can ease tension in a family. A moment of patience can prevent years of bitterness. Small acts like drops of water fill the reservoir of our lives, and one day they return as peace in the heart. Modern science also tells us this. Our repeated thoughts and actions shape pathways in the brain. If we sow anger, the brain learns anger. If we sow gratitude, the brain learns peace. Scientists call it neuroplasticity, the brain reshaping itself by what we repeat. Buddhism calls it simply, as you sow, so shall you reap. Have you ever looked back and realized that something once painful, later opened a new path? That too is the language of karma. Every seed we plant waits for its time to grow. Not all bloom at once. Some take years, even lifetimes. But none are ever lost, and when they blossom, we see clearly that the quiet sacrifices, the unseen kindness, are the true treasures we carry. So if there is one message I want to leave you with here, it is this: trust in the law of karma. It is not here to bind you, but to remind you that everything you do matters. Live with compassion today, and you are writing blessings for tomorrow. When you see this truth, life no longer feels unfair. It becomes a gentle current, steady, just, and full of compassion. Part 2. The parent-child connection. Have you ever looked into the eyes of your child and wondered, why did this soul come to me? Out of all the parents in the world, why did they choose this home, this family, this life? In Buddhism, there are no accidents in such meetings. Parents and children are bound together by invisible threads of karma and destiny. Each child comes not by chance, but by resonance. They arrive because there is something to be learned, something to be given, something to be healed. I once spoke with a man in his 60s. He told me, when I held my youngest son for the first time, I felt I already knew him. There was something familiar, as if our souls had crossed paths before. So many parents have felt the same mysterious recognition. This is not imagination. It is the echo of karmic connection. The first child often comes as a test. They challenge us to grow, to learn patience, to practice unconditional love. The sleepless nights, the anxious days, the struggles of new parenthood, these are all lessons. They are the mirror through which we begin to see our own limits and expand our capacity to love. Then, when the second child arrives, something feels different. By then, parents are more experienced, more relaxed, more confident. The hands that once trembled now hold steady. The heart that once worried too much now opens more freely. And in that readiness, the second child shines more fully. They do not come to demand, but to give. Not to burden, but to bring peace. Have you seen families where the first child is strong-willed and challenging, while the second seems gentle and calm? Many parents say, my first child kept me awake with worry, but the second made me feel our home was finally whole. That balance is no accident. It is the harmony of karma at work. Psychologists today observe something similar. Parents are often less anxious with a second child. They create a calmer emotional space, and the child reflects that peace. In Buddhist language, this is the meeting of ripened karma with open-hearted readiness. Think about it. Perhaps your child chose you not only because of biology, but because your heart was prepared to welcome them. When we see this way, children are no longer just ours. They are guests of destiny, entrusted to our care, carrying both lessons and blessings. With this understanding, parenting changes. We no longer try to mold our children into our expectations. Instead, we ask, what lesson have they come to teach me? What gift of love have they brought into my life? When you hold this perspective, love flows more easily. Patience grows deeper. Compassion becomes natural. The parent-child bond becomes more than family. It becomes a sacred meeting of souls, guided by the quiet justice of karma. Part 3. The meaning of the second child, a sign of blessing. Many parents have said to me, my second child feels like a gift. And truly, in the light of Buddhist wisdom, the second child often carries a very special energy. If the first child is a test, a mirror pushing parents to grow in patience, then the second child is often the fruit of that effort, the gentle blessing that follows labor. When a child is born, it is never just another mouth to feed. It is a sign that the seeds of goodness planted long ago are ripening. The second child is often a reflection of those hidden seeds. Perhaps it was the kindness you offered without reward. Perhaps it was the anger you chose to release instead of holding. Perhaps it was the quiet prayer whispered for someone else. These things never vanish. They wait, and one day they return in the laughter of a child who brings peace into your home. I recall a woman in her 60s who told me, my first child was difficult, sickly and strong-willed. I cried many nights. But when my second was born, everything felt different. He was easy, gentle, and brought a sense of calm to the whole house. She looked at me with tears of gratitude. For her, this was not just temperament, it was life's way of returning the love she had given. For older Americans, perhaps you too have wondered if the good you have done in life has been forgotten. The truth is, nothing is lost. The universe remembers. And sometimes the return comes, not in wealth or recognition, but in the presence of a gentle child who lights your days. Science also notices this difference. Parents are less anxious with the second child. The home feels more relaxed, and in that calmness, blessings are easier to see. This is why the second child so often feels like a sign from the universe, a reminder that love is never wasted. Think about it. Have you ever felt that after a storm, the sun shines brighter than before? The second child is like that sunlight. They do not erase the struggle, but they soften it. They remind us that hardship is never the whole story. There is always sweetness waiting to bloom. So when we call the second child a blessing, it is more than a figure of speech. It is the truth of karma bearing fruit. It is the smile of the universe, returning in the gentle presence of a child. Part 4. The second child as karma blossomed into blessing. Have you ever felt that the simple presence of someone could soften the entire atmosphere of your home? For many families, the second child is just that. They arrive like a gentle breeze after a long summer day, quiet, refreshing, and healing. In Buddhist teaching, every seed of goodness eventually blooms. The second child is often one of those blossoms. They are living proof that love and compassion never disappear. Think of the times you held back harsh words and chose kindness. Think of the sacrifices you made in silence. Think of the compassion you offered without expecting thanks. All of those moments were stored away, waiting to return. And sometimes they return in the smile of a child. A mother once told me, "My first child exhausted me. I cried many nights, uncertain and overwhelmed. But when my second was born, I felt a peace I never knew before. His laughter alone was enough to calm my heart." She believed this was not just temperament, it was a blessing, and I agreed. Her story was a perfect example of karma blossoming into grace. The second child becomes a mirror of the past love we once gave. Each time you look into their eyes, you are reminded, nothing good is ever lost. For many older parents, this is deeply comforting. We often wonder, were our sacrifices worth it? Did the love we gave really matter? The second child whispers back, yes, it mattered. Psychologists today also find that children who radiate calmness reduce stress in the entire household. The simple act of holding them slows the parent's heartbeat. Their laughter releases hormones that heal the body and soothe the mind. In this way, the child becomes medicine, an unspoken cure gifted by life itself. Have you ever noticed how, after years of hardship, a single moment of joy can feel like sunlight after rain? The second child carries that kind of joy. They are not sent to weigh you down, but to remind you that love and kindness always circle back. So the second child is not only your child. They are a spiritual companion, a sign from the universe, telling you that compassion returns as blessing. And sometimes, that blessing does not come as wealth, status, or comfort. It comes in the form of a child whose presence alone is proof that the universe remembers your love. Part 5. The second child as healing of memory. As we grow older, memories visit us more often. We remember joys but also mistakes, regrets, and painful seasons. Many parents, especially those who have lived through divorce, hardship, or loss, wonder, did I fail? Did the past define me in ways I cannot change? And then a second child arrives. Their presence is like a whisper from the universe. You are not forgotten. Your love still matters. This is your chance to heal. The second child does not erase the past, but they soften it. Each smile, each embrace, feels like a balm placed gently over old wounds. I recall an elderly grandmother who told me, "When I see my second grandchild smile, I feel forgiven. It is as if my past no longer condemns me, but becomes soil for new joy to grow." For her, the child was more than family. The child was a second chance. And isn't that something we all long for? A second chance? Older Americans often speak of this deeply. The second child embodies that very hope. They remind us that life does not only record our mistakes, it also preserves the kindness we have shown, waiting for the right time to return. Modern psychology supports this truth. Studies show that time spent with a loving child releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It lowers anxiety, heals stress, and even softens the weight of old painful memories. In simple terms, a child's presence can rewrite the story of our hearts. Have you ever felt that a child's innocent gaze dissolved years of heaviness? That is the quiet miracle of ripened karma. It comes not to remind us of failures, but to give us space for renewal. The second child is the living answer. Life is still kind. Love is still present. Healing is still possible. They show us that while the past may hold scars, the present always holds room for love. By loving this child, you are also tending to the younger, wounded version of yourself. You are rewriting your story with compassion, one gentle moment at a time. So when you embrace your second child, know that you are embracing healing itself. You are touching the proof that nothing good was ever wasted, and that even pain can blossom into peace. Part 6. The Path of Practice Through Parenting. Many parents believe raising children is only responsibility, feeding them, educating them, preparing them for the future. But in the light of Buddhism, raising a child is more than duty. It is also a path of spiritual practice, a daily training of the heart. Think about it. Each time your child cries, you learn patience. Each time they make a mistake, you practice forgiveness. Each time they hug you, your heart learns to open a little more. These are not small things. They are lessons. They are practices of the spirit, happening right in the home. Someone once asked me, "How do I know if I'm progressing on the path?" I answered, "Look at how you treat your family, especially your children. It is easy to appear calm outside. But at home, when you are tired or pressured, the truth comes out." That is where spiritual growth truly happens. The second child, often gentle by nature, gives parents a special chance to practice. With them, you learn that love is not control. Love is companionship. You discover that guiding is better than demanding, and letting go brings more peace than clinging tightly. Picture this. One evening, you watch your child play in the fading sunlight. You realize that happiness is not in distant goals. It is here, in their laughter, in their presence. Parenting becomes a form of meditation, a reminder to be fully alive. Science also confirms this. When parents care for their children with patience and love, the brain releases chemicals like serotonin and oxytocin. These bring calm, reduce anxiety, and strengthen bonds. So in caring for your child, you are also caring for your own mental health and spirit. The truth is, children are not only our students. They are also our teachers. The second child in particular often becomes an invisible guide, teaching us patience, compassion, and forgiveness we never knew we had. Through them, we discover our deeper selves. So do not see parenting as burden, see it as opportunity. Each meal you share, each story you tell, each embrace you give, is practice. Each act of kindness to your child is also an act of kindness to your soul. Have you ever thought that when you hold your child's hand, you might also be holding the hand of your own past self? Parent and child walk together not only through blood, but through shared karma. In that companionship, both grow closer to love, closer to truth, closer to the divine. Conclusion. We have walked together through 6 deep reflections. Do you remember each step of the journey? We spoke of the law of karma. It is not punishment or reward. It is the echo of what we sow. We spoke of the bond between parents and children. Nothing is random. Children come through the resonance of karma and destiny. We reflected on the meaning of the second child. They bring sweetness and calmness like a gift from the universe. They are the fruit of past good deeds. We saw the second child as karma blossomed into blessing. Their presence is a mirror of love already given. It is the smile of the universe returning to you. We spoke of the healing of memory. For many elders, the past carries pain. But the second child is a new chance, a reminder that love never disappears. Finally, we learned of the path of practice through parenting. Raising a child is not only duty, it is spiritual training, shaping both the child and the parent. Do you see the thread that ties all these lessons together? It is love. It is the justice of karma. It is the gentle healing that life offers. Have you ever felt your child was not only your child, but also your teacher? Have you ever noticed how their laughter can dissolve years of worry in a single moment? If something here touched your heart today, pause for a breath. Feel gratitude for your own journey. Even if life has been hard, nothing good you have done is ever lost. I want to congratulate you for listening and reflecting, but more than listening, I invite you to practice. Speak gently instead of harshly. Forgive instead of holding anger. Offer love instead of judgment. These are seeds of karma, and they will grow into blessings. Which of these 6 truths speaks most deeply to you? Which feels closest to your own life story? Would you be willing to share your reflections with us? Thank you for being here with me and with Son.Mindfulness. Please subscribe and continue to support this channel so we can walk this path of wisdom together. Leave a comment with your thoughts because your story may inspire someone else. I wish you good health, peace, happiness, and blessings on your journey. And I thank you deeply for your presence today. Thank you.